Okay, you did. All right, so we're all in agreement. So, moral of the story here, 9Z, newer team, didn't have as good of a game one. They are the underdogs in this situation. They got 7-1 on Clubhouse and opted to leave it up.
They did, but again, you can put that on to the fact that, you know, 6 Karma they played last time, not the best team. And again, now they're going up against Cruelty, another very dangerous team when you're a relatively young team. At the same time, you know, if you've gone over, you've got your support staff, you've gone over for the VOD, you've been like, here's where we need to improve. Maybe they can get a few more of these rounds on the table. Certainly on these attacks is where you want to be looking. If you're starting on the less favourable side of attack, you want to be coming through with some of these rounds. So then when you fall into the fence, you can put it back. The bans, though, the buck ban is an interesting one for me.
And it?
I mean, the bandit as well. There's some curious bans here across the board, if we're honest. I mean, the Habana, that's pretty old school when it comes to Clubhouse. You want to get rid of some of that hard reach utility. The Azami, of course, as well, one of the most banned operators in the game at the moment because of how incredibly strong that util is. So much cover, so much flexibility. But yeah, the bandit's a little bit head-scratcher, I've got to be honest. Granted, you know, the Kaids on the table, you're going to be able to put them in better places, but even if there were bandits in play, you could deal with them very easily. We have secondary EMPs now. Even the golden oldie of just going for that Verti to get rid of them.
However, I will argue that the bandit ban, probably due to the fact that they're leaving Thatcher up. So if there's a Cade, Thatcher does it very easily, as we talked about. It also stops a Cade trick. You can't stop a bandit trick with a Thatcher. So Cruelty figure, you know what? Rather than have to bring a Capitao, burn utility to try and get a nade in there, take lounge control, or, you know, stun, have you? Take away the bandit. No more tricking.
Fuse is going to be an interesting one as well, I think. Because we saw how impactful that was last week. The ability to just clear the entirety of that basement collapse. Ooh, the run out the spray, but it lands! Victory's going to fall down! Goodness me! Already, what is going on?
That was crazy.
The aggression crow.
That was actually an insane shot. It looks like he almost got refragged. Trying to go back down the server. Maybe, oh, he's just peeking server window. Never mind. Peeking up against Unfixed. Candela goes in to try and save this Ying some time, but eventually Gicho gets cut off by Faxi. Looking for another. Toski gets incredibly lit up, but oh, there's support from Alan Durf walking up main. Now there's still roamers on the board, both Toski and Navy. In a 4v3 that 9Z have to claw their way out of, and it seems like the answer is going to be a dirt hit from the sledge. Able to go in, very quiet, thanks to that sledgehammer. Is there a barricade on the dirt doorway, though? So that's going to impede his progress.
My concern is that's a solo push. Nobody else is in the position to help reinforce that at the moment. Got Unfixed kind of holding for oil. Got Neve looking if they can make something work. Looks like Blue Hatch is going to get opened, of course. I'm just disappointed we're not seeing some of these cluster charges on site. Perhaps that'll give Pixie the breathing room to catch some people a little bit off guard here. If they run into Dirt Tunnel to try and escape, they run into his open and willing arms.
Here comes the Ying from Oil Pit. Who wanted to drop in, but there's a bulletproof cam. Della comes through. The Malusi just not getting touched at all, and he's going to be able to find two. Pixie's the last one left. Be able to get the kill onto Alan Durf and down Rovi. Now a 1 versus 2 against Navy and Toski, those two roamers who have since come back to site. Navy's holding close on the church door. Toski down main. Rovi not cleaned up just yet. He's likely still feeding info to his team, and Navy gets the finisher. Team Cruelty, after a very aggressive roam, take a very comfortable round 1.
Aggressive roam. Aggression being the main part of that sentence, Crow. I mean, that initial run out. The nade to the garage wall. Yep, I'm just gonna doink you. You're all the way over on the roof over there. My. It's gonna be one of those games. I can feel it in my bones already. I really think then, NZ, they should have gone for something a little bit more calm at that point. Granted, they were running out of time. It took them a very long time to clear the roam presence. You know, nearly half the round had gone and there were still people lurking on main stairs as an example, still shutting them down on main stairs. It's an uncomfortable start for them. Hopefully they can pull it back this next round though. They are bringing a IQ and a Lion. We'll see if that sticks, but for now that's still a pretty decent amount of intel utility to bring. An overview of the utility, but also a nice little, well, as I say, that ace is going to be 6, of course. But you still got the Lion, you got the global, right? If this aggression comes through again, you can hopefully try and catch it out a little bit better.
I imagine the IQ was probably just in case there was a Valkyrie, because she's unbanned. You know, you consider the top floor bomb sites. Valkyrie is incredibly useful there. And once they found out there was no Valk, you don't need IQ anymore. So bringing Ace and Thermite means they're going to full clear cache. Or sorry, not full clear cache, but they're going to open the cache wall. They'll probably, you know, there's a possibility that they'll just sit somebody outside that wall window, and there's the possibility that they decide to full clear in from cache and get the pinch going on. As of right now, it seems like it's going to be the former. Just open up this wall and leave the Zoe there. If they... Hello? Someone going to... There he comes. Here he is. Yeah, he's leaving.
That's called teamwork. Opening construction 2 is going to give them a little bit less pressure if there are people lurking in cache still. It will allow them to apply a little bit more friction. Again, you do have to still worry about that crossfire from Logi.
What was he looking at? He was looking at the hard... Alright, that was weird. Now they're going to use the rest of the hard breach to, one, open Jacuzzi, maybe open the bathroom wall later in the round with their remaining Selma from Ace. Although there's a mute jammer. And Lion is not bringing EMPs. He's got flashes. So they actually... never mind, they can't deal with the mute jammer in bathroom because they also have no nades, interestingly enough. Very rare, I feel, that we see a lineup with 0 nades. But here we are. We'll see if they pay the price for it in not being able to clear that mute jammer.
This is it. The timer is ticking. They still need to start clearing into CCTV and cache, get at least half the map under their belts. And Fix is going to try to, again, go for these pinches. They're setting up for it, but they're not quite going for it. Look at all the breathing room they're giving Rovi. He's going to go for a spray. Takes a little bit of damage off Faxi. But no commitment to the gunfight on both sides right now.
Wait, they're not watching server window anymore. This could be a freebie. Luckily, the flash comes in just in time to full blind him, and Novi gets the first kill on Gicho. He is down in the process thanks to the shotgun, and now cleaned up by Alan Durf, who still holds on to bathroom. Again, the Selma unable to flush him out thanks to those mute jammers. Navy falls next. The Frost lands a beautiful shot, though. Toski with one. Roby still holding on to cash, finds another. This player on Logi has got to get a move on thanks to that pressure from the Solus, but Alan Durf is the next to go down. Pixie makes his way in as his teammate falls, and he has no case in hand. It's stuck outside the breach. With only 4 seconds left, there's no hope of winning this round unless Team Cruelty expose themselves. And look at how far they've peeled off. Off of time, Team Cruelty will take a 2-0 lead.
And it's the point where you want a timeout to really come through from 9Z. Nope, it's not going to happen. I mean, this is it, right? It's again a very uncomfortable approach that they're taking. Sometimes it's like, you know, they're getting picked off a little bit, but we're already seeing the lack of willingness to take some of these gunfights. You know, granted, maybe after the last time they came to this map, there's not the best of confidence going into it, but They should have scrimmed it. They have the plan. They know what they need to do. The main issue here is perhaps the adaptability throughout the round. They start to lose numbers. It's where things start to go even squiffier, because instead of thinking, okay, what utility do we have? How can we approach this with what we have left? They're then just trying to go for these... It's giving solo plays at time. I'm not going to lie. It's giving solo plays. They need to concrete these decisions in the late round a little bit better, especially if they're at a man disadvantage.
Team Cruelty so confident in the first 2 rounds. They're going to bar.
Yeah.
I love bar.
Which,
awesome.
you know what? This is it, though, right? Bar, it's... Lots of people prefer it now over CCTV, especially if there is an Azami on the board. Thankfully, in this game, there's not. But if there is, you know, people, they don't want to touch CC with a barge pole. They'd rather go to bar. Granted, you know, pressure from strip, pressure from above, that's your main focal points, right? So already we are seeing NZ, you know, they know 9Z, they know how to approach this. They know they want to get in through strip. They want to deal with this player that's lurking around there first. But again, Tasky here with a shotgun in hand. Do you want to contest it?
They heard the sledge run away. It's Gicho with the first kill onto Pixie. Over by the gym window. Catches him on close right, placing a claymore, it looks like. And they've got pings outside, too. Baxi stuck on the drone, gets caught by Tosky. Little teabag there in front of the drone just to say, haha, you thought you were going to hunt me down. Now it's a 3v5, very early on, too. Still 2 minutes remaining for 9Z, who haven't even made it into the building.
Which, again, you know, worrying. I think maybe the strip pressure needs to come a little bit later if you are dealing with someone like that and you're going to try and solo push it. Maybe you focus at upstairs control to begin with, once you've pushed them back to the site. While they're distracted with that potential verticality that can come through, that's when you have the bite come through from the strip.
Line scan, but nothing off of it. Oh, the 1-2 punch. Gicho runs out, loses his life, but Ravi has an immediate trade, peeking up and destroying the Lion outside con window. The first player in the building award goes to Nilvi. Congratulations. Still in a 2v4, though. He's got pings on the alibi. There's a shield protecting her. He's thinking about maybe making his way out the window, but since they have active info on the alibi, he might just try and drop hatch. That could be the case. In comes Victory. Still worried about someone in strip, but remember, Tosky has since fallen back into the site. Flashes come in, that heralds the drop from Nilvi. More flashes into the bomb site. He wants to try and get this plant down, it looks. Default cam now shot, but he's not looking the right way, even though he just flashed there, giving Tosky a freebie. Victory at least gets a nice pre-fire onto Rovi, but there's 30 seconds left. And look who's still on the board. Navy. The Echo. Even if Victory kills all the rest of his teammates, it's very likely that the time will be so low that he's got no chance, and it doesn't even come down to it. The Echo ends the round, not with the Yokai, but with his gun, and it's 3 defenses in a row for Cruelty.
The ideal thing in that situation would have been if Nilv held onto the hatch, thus making sure they had that top floor control still, and they also could look down into double going into bar. That way, then you take the diffuser through strip, you bring it to billiard. As soon as it comes in, that's when you drop, that's when you flash. The timing was off there. I'm not sure if they timed that correctly, if they planned to time that correctly, but there was absolutely no way that the 3-2-1 came through there, or the communication about, okay, I'm here now, I'm here now, I'm here now. That's the way they should have approached it, in my opinion. Very uncomfortable. At that point, again, it's this issue that 9Z keep having. They're isolating themselves into these 1 versus 1s. They're making these almost solo plays to take these gunfights. I understand the thinking process behind it, but ideally in that situation, all they had to do was get the plant down, and then they pull back a little bit and they just hold for that retake as best they can, hold those crossfires. Very uncomfortable.
Now 9Z have a timeout that hopefully was constructive, that they've talked about with their team. Figured out, you know, guys, we have to walk in the building to win rounds. It's kind of integral. They've got Fuse, they've got Jackal, they've got Sledge. They've got a lot of good pieces for this church attack, but now look who's coming out for Cruelty. It's Valk. And Cruelty were already smoking 9Z without her. And it seemed like they still had a fair amount of info, let's be honest. Now they've got even more? What is to become of 9Z? They've got the IQ at the very least. Still have some counter to the Valkyrie. But, I mean, still, this is... That's an old one. I mean, there's an IQ, so... It shouldn't prove too harmful to this attack.
I just want to see Nilv make good use of this fuse utility now. We play C4 for the Logi drop as well. 40 looking to get a little bit nasty. Again, looking at the way the roam presence is scattered right now, they should be able to get top floor pretty quickly. They can get that pressure thrown out very, very fast. Maxi should have some help. Unfixed, however, yeeted and deleted from the server. No more Jackal utility. And that could be very, very uncomfortable. That information game, it'll be so, so crucial for them to combat that Valkyrie pick.
And now Pixie's like, there's gotta be a camp somewhere, right? And he spots one. Not the right one, though. They've still got pings in bar. And still 2 C4s, too. On Navy and Alan Durf. Hopefully Pixie's able to find it. There it is. Alright. So there's one Black Eye being spotted in kitchen. Fuse now coming into play, clearing out all the utility on the and all the manpower in the B-bomb site. Got a hard breach charge too. This is just to make sure that there's no impact trickage going on. He's already used one too, so he's probably dealt with all the utility. I don't know what that EMP was for, but it's gone now. This fuse charge to clear Moto. Cade and Valkyrie will have to back off. Oh wait, he shot it? Oh, they Cade tricked it. That's actually pretty funny.
Quiet before the storm. Maybe a little bit of pressure and dirt would be advisable now. One more cluster charge. I think it's about to pop now. Here we go. Question mark? I guess not.
An EMP for sound coverage, I guess, as Victory just gets on in. He has to worry about the player in dirt, but for now, he's safe. Unless he, dies to the hole in Kool-Aid wall. So their case carrier is down. Pixie has a refrag on a Toski at the very least. But no one else has joined Victory and Arsenal. Finally, it's Faxi's job, but he gets smoked by Alan Durf and Gicho. Nilvi the next to drop, and he dies to Navy. And now Pixie's alone. Easy round for Cruelty.
I just don't understand what the execute setup was there. Was
Clearly,
it just...
It was drop kitchen hatch.
and then it was like, and then question mark?
There doesn't need to be a next. There doesn't need to be a next step. Listen, they drop kitchen. They plant.
Then what though?
They plant. See, that's the number. They plant and then they win the round. Victory did.
This is the problem, okay? They need to think about the dimensions they're taking with these executes. It is getting frustrating to watch. It is such a shame. At the moment, it feels like wasted potential. You know, you see individually these players have moments of brilliance. It's just the communication with the plans in the end round. It's like I touched on it before. It's completely out the window at the moment. And it's heartbreaking.
Actually, Grace, wasted potential forfeited their season. So.
Sorry?
Yeah. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but they are not wasted potential. They're a team in Southeast Asia. They forfeited the rest of the season.
I'm just shaking my head at the pun more than anything.
Sorry. I do this all the time to John. You're gonna have to get used to it. Yeah, you're telling me step 1, drop kitchen hatch. Step 2,
I'm going to be
Plant.
having nightmares about
Step
these
3,
executes for a
win
few
the
weeks
round.
now.
You're telling me that's not a
I
good
promise
plan?
you, I will be having these fever dream sleeps, and I'm just going to be thinking about these executes.
That's 3 whole steps. That's more than I can plan ahead.
It's unfortunate. Can they get 2 rounds on the table at least for this attacking half?
No.
Not the 6-0. It's gonna be
Rear in its head.
right in the field. In the field.
It's like the Kilroy. It's like peeking his head up over the wall. I wonder if anyone in the audience knows what that is.
You Americans and your wiki sayings.
Yeah, first Bob had to explain Bach had to explain eat a crow, and I'm gonna have to explain what a Kilroy is.
And Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Pee-wee you don't know who Pee-wee is? Pee-wee Herman. That was an old Paul Rubens character.
I don't know who.
Which is really funny because Pee-wee Herman was like kid friendly. Paul Rubens stand up, not at all. That's a play.
The C4.
And then the
quite
peek.
land.
No way. All right, well, at least he gets traded by victory, but still, I mean, you've lost nades from Pixie. By the way, they just opened the breach. All there was on the breach was a Cade Claw, and they opened it halfway through the round. That's got to be quicker.
They've opened this breathing space. Now they just have to do something about it. Again, the additional angles of pressure. Granted, they have someone on windows, but that is not enough. Lots of utils still as well. You know, you've got 3 Flores drones left, lots of flashes. But you take a breather. What do we have in our pockets? How can we make this work? Neve, looking like they were going to think about taking construction. Here come the flashes.
Here comes a push. Nope. Not yet. Another flash. No push. Unfixed, trying to apply pressure from the window. Will light up Navy. Baxi gets a kill on Alan Durf. Oh, and here we go. The ball's getting rolling for 9Z. Toski's alone in a 1 versus 4. He downs the Flores, but is left to 1 HP himself, and the plant has been completed by Nilv. There's the finisher. He'll be able to pad his stat a little bit. That C4 just went like 2 feet. That was pretty funny. 9Z did a much better job of getting in the building. Look at that. 1 guy on a mirror window can't stop you if there's 3 of you. Finally, 9Z actually have the initiative, get in the building, and look what happens. They went around.
They started to use their flash utility. They started to use the utility to follow up what they were trying to do with these executes. And I think that's the main thing. Granted, you know, a few flashes when nobody moved. But maybe just to try and see if people would kind of rustle themselves out of these positions, if they could work off that audio, maybe. Question marks floating around my head right now.
Yeah, I think it
but at least, you know, at least they're not going to be 6-0 in this first half. That's the main thing here.
Yeah.
Can they get another one, though? Can they get another one? Here we go. Bar. Saw how that went last time.
Not great.
The most ideal push to get that plant down. Maybe they'll be a little bit firmer this time. Get their 3-2-1s on lock.
I think the flashes may have just been for the Flores on the window, trying to see if anyone like rotates. Which he almost got one. He almost got the Malusi. Yeah, we gotta see again 9Z actually make it into the building this time. Last round, 3 of them died outside. And it was real slow. With an Echo on the board, you can't be having that. With Echo and a Maestro now. We'll see what they do about Cruelty's roam upstairs. Thermite and an Ace. We're going to be opening a hell of a lot of walls. Strip up first for 9Z. Last time, Toski put a stop to it. But I like this. Opening the wall sooner rather than later. Unfortunately, there's no one for them to find. Toski has already dipped. At the very least, he's not going to get a freebie from outside strip this time.
Yeah, at least that gives them a clean way in. Granted, we still got this room presence upstairs. They will have to clear some of this top floor control. Looks like that's what they're about to plan to do. These are getting opened nice and smooth. Again, you need these additional angles of pressure to come through. I'm assuming... Okay, there's a roaming maestro in basement.
And?
Huh.
What are you hating? Let the man live. That was a
Live is what he will do, I suppose.
bit of a waste of a C4 from Toski, unfortunately. What's concerning me right now is that, as you can see, Icho's got a whole lot of vertical established. That... Wow, he still got that. I thought Alan Durf just hit, like, the whiff of his life, and Unfixed was gonna stand up and smoke him. That did not happen. Alan Durf had the whiff of his life and still got the kill as Unfixed stood up. Now, if I can get back to my point, where I was so rudely interrupted by Alan Durf. What concerns me is that, as you can see, Gicho has all this vert. Bro V2 to an extent. There is a minute left, and 9Z like haven't even begun to clear the upstairs. They have jacuzzi wall open. Big whoop. That's it. Solus can still use this vert to completely deny your plan.
Yeah, 40 seconds. It's going to get a little bit clunky, to be honest, Crow. Especially when you still got the Solus utility. You've got the Alder still, you've got the Evil Eyes. The Alder, of course, Hot Knife Through Butter. We've just seen a disgusting pick come through from Garage from it. There we have it, Gocho taking down Neve. He does trade it before, there we go, the flurry of kills coming through, and nade to the face for Gocho as well. Swing on the corner, Pixie! Can you clutch this out, my friend? Pick up the diffuser, potentially go for the plan. They don't have the information they need. So things get a little bit riskier. 10 seconds to go. They're running away from the diffuser. Why don't they just try and stick the plans? It's so uncomfortable. We'll swing around the corner potentially. They whiff, they managed to get it. At least they've padded their KD. But surely the focus then should have been on the objective.
I think Pixie probably thought to himself, like, well, we know the last two are Echo Maestro. There's no way I'm going to get the plant down. And, I mean, he's right. There was no way he was going to get that plant down with an Echo and a Maestro on the board. 15 seconds left. Nothing he could do. And again, it's just down to the slowness of the clears. Like, yeah, they open up strip. That was great. Fantastic. But then they open jacuzzi and they just stand there for like a minute. You have to take these guys out of the top floor, because otherwise the Echo and the Maestro are going to start, you know, climbing in value. The more the round progresses. And Pixie did his best. It was way too little too late. So a 5-1 defensive half for Cruelty. Fully in the advantage here. They won 2 rounds on their attack against Knights. They win 2 here. They win the map.
I think it's frustrating. It's probably, if you're a 9Z fan right now, you really are just trying to send them your energy as best you can. I really think the rod reviews need to be coming through a little bit stronger. It's the similar mistakes that we saw last week, and I think that's my concern, right? It's this idea where I'd assumed, okay, they'll iron out the issues. It doesn't feel like they have. You just need them to pull it back on this defense now. Again, Team Cruelty, a formidable force to go up against. Already, so much breathing space are pretty much being given for free here, Crow. And that's my concern too. These hatches are going to get opened very, very quickly. Maybe they'll apply some of this dirt pressure too. And if they decide to go for hatches, dirt, and main stairs, the golden oldie, it's going to be a pretty nice approach for them. Pretty much uncontested.
And they got a whole lot of free control. Rovy's setting up to hit blue. He'll probably be taking back sight while the rest of his team pushes front. This ace going to be instrumental in dealing with the mirror windows. He's still got all 3 Selmas, so I don't doubt that's what they'll be used for. No mute either, and all the Cades are for the hatches, so there'll be nothing to stop the ace from destroying the mirrors. Especially now with that Moto hatch opened. And I don't think Cruelty are going to open this kitchen hatch. I'm not going to lie. And now they've got the opening pick.
Comfortable. No more magnets to come out. But at this point, you know roughly where they're going to come from. Selma's starting to open church wall. Where things get a little bit uncomfortable, certainly that's going to get more uncomfortable for Victory. They're about to be completely exposed. They've actually had to go into a prone position here just in case the crossfire is being held. Look how aggressive they're willing to get on main stairs. Blue pressure about to come through too. Pixie manages to take out Gorkovo.
That's good. The ace has already done his job. Navy refrags Pixie. Rovi goes down in blue, so now it's a full frontside execute for this attack, and Victory stuck on that wall. Gets taken down. Navy's on the floor too. Nilvi, a kill onto Navy. Finishes the down Thatcher, but the plant is being completed. But the cover's gone, and the C4 confirms.
Wow.
Maxi and Nilvi. A 2 versus 4, essentially. Holding on to blue and ensuring the frontside push gets shut down.
Second round on the table. Hopefully that will put the wind under their sails. In theory, that should not have worked for them. They did so well to push back that collapse. Goodness me, they did.
It was just a game of refresh. Pixie getting the kill. Pixie getting the kill through the breach. And then the downs onto Navy and Rovi. Team Cruelty with such low time were forced to execute. And 9Z hit their shots. All there is to it. So 9Z make it a slightly better time for themselves. Now Jim, Mira still in play. He's still in play from Cruelty, likely to counter it, I would have to imagine. Frost is going to be dangerous, though. She pretty much eliminates the possibility of a window push. So at least 9Z know where they're going to be coming from.
One Pogmat still to go out as well. I think already again, it's not anything too creative here from 9Z as well. They're holding the right places, you know? They're holding these right positions. Top red's covered, cash is covered. Ooh, nice setup there too, you know, you've got the castle barricade to protect, burn a bit of utility out. With this little hole of death. It's looking all the way into garage in case you do want to get a little bit freaky with it. Looks like they are going to pull back though. Could be a little bit premature to be honest, Crow.
Definitely with still 2 minutes remaining. I mean, there hasn't really even been any utility thrown at them. Barely any drones too, considering, you know, now Team Cruelty have only lost 2. Just now losing the second, but Ace has made his presence known. The Jaeger's being forced to fall back. They do have open head holes in cons, so they can still contest if they would like to. Of course, they don't have to. Right now, they're just trying to put a stop to this window presence. Again, thanks to the frost, thanks to the shield on the master bed too. It's going to be a lot harder for Cruelty to make their way in through these windows on the balcony. But it seems like luckily, the planter is headed towards con, so they'll probably just have cover from the windows without actually having to go inside.
This is where again they just need to be focusing on the multiple angles they're going to take here. A little bit of spar wall to be open still. No hard breach to do so. That's the last of those drones to get rid of a lot of this util too. So this is a point where it gets very clunky. These tight choke points they have to try and go for. 9Z are holding these lovely little crossfires. Looking very, very good. All they'd have to do is fend off this approach. Gaucho, there we go. Faxi's going to trade that back onto Navy. Roby taking on victory 2. 3 versus 4. Gaucho takes a little bit of damage, but manages to shut down Faxi. Pixie will also fall, and Fix left in a 1 versus 4. Plant is going down. Can they secure it? Can they clutch this out? Ooh, I think that might be the plan. Yes, indeed it was. The swing around the corner from Logi.
So
If that is indeed match point.
that was like a 4-for-1 Logi take they just had. I mean, you said it. The crossfires seemed pretty decent for 9Z.
They did.
But then
Timing.
the ace swung Nilv in the corner, and it snowballed. Team Cruelty just stormed into Logi. There was nothing 9Z could do. None of them won their gunfights. Cruelty, I think, lost 1 member, and that 1 member they immediately refragged. That's what happens when you put all your eggs in one basket as 9Z without anyone really on the site. So they continue their site rotation. They won Church, lost Gym. Now we find ourselves on Cash. Wamai and Jaeger. So there's going to be a pretty tough Rafters hold for Cruelty to try and break through. There's a Nook in play. Nook could be the one to take Rafters. Just kind of sneak on by.
The thing is, I feel like on an emotional level, you want 9Z to pull this through, right? They had a rough clubhouse the other week. This is also a very rough clubhouse for them. You want to see them shine. You want to see that progress.
That makes one of us.
I just like it. I just like it.
I voted
like
Cruelty.
seeing...
My prediction being right is
improve.
more important.
That's the thing. I predicted Cruelty to win too, but I still want the round differential to be a lot tighter, right? I want 9Z to do a lot better than they did last week. Feels like there's still a fair bit of work to do.
Very interested to see how this garage take works out. If they even go for garage. Because they're rotating their thermite to master and opening the single panel wall. So they're going to ignore Rafters, I guess. Navy's coming in from below too. Might have a red flank as the shield gets cut down. I think the con wall is now getting opened by the ace.
So much potential right now for multiple pinches to come through. Roby, you had nades. Granted, there may have been ADSs.
This is a good nade though.
Oh, there we have it. The good stuff, Navy. Beautiful nade from below. That's exactly what we want to see when it comes to VCC. Takes, Neve gets down too. Milv rather. And they get brought up. This is where you want the punch to come in. This is where you want that collapse to come through. That little pause there, it's given them all the breathing space they needed to get that res. The C4 comes through as a result, and Gocho is going to fall down. A 3 versus 3, make that a 3 versus 2. Victory going large. Navy will fall down too. All they have to do is keep hold of this site. But look, they're all the way in CC. No, they're not, because Victory is going to go massive. And there we have it, Pixie. They're not ready to go home just yet.
All right. So we had a con take, and Team Cruelty didn't know how to get into cash. I mean, they had the nades from below. It looked like they had the opening, but there was a player top red. There was a player in server. And you know what would have stopped all of that from happening? If one guy just went plat wall. It was open. Very easily, one player from Cruelty could have wrapped around. And that's traditional when it comes to a con take. You don't just open plat and then leave it. Rotate someone. Also the Nook. Triggering the Banshee and then just kind of walking up un-ADS'd. Don't do that. So Cruelty drop another round, but they're still up 6-3. I'm sure they're still comfortable. You know, they lost that round. Maybe they lose Church again, then it's back to Gym, where Cruelty won pretty dominantly. There is a roam now that they have to deal with, though. That's different.
Could be a concern. We'll see how they approach it. Again, last time they were given so much breathing space. I really do think that's a nice read from 9Z. Being like, okay, we'll maintain more of this map control. We'll keep that under our belts for as long as possible. Again, ideally, you know, you don't even have to engage with these gunfights as long as you're wasting time, as long as you're burning out that timer, you're shooting out those drones, you're repositioning. Already they're falling back to sight here.
They did this last time, too. I was hoping that the roam was going to stay for a little longer.
Me too.
Especially because you have a Solus, but 2 minutes left, they fall back. Rovi looking like he wants to go for this back pressure once again. It's going to be his job to hit blue once the execute starts working its way down. We do still have Ace and Thatcher and the Thermite, so the hatches are going to be no problem. Likely the mirror windows as well. We saw the fact that they were able to open the mirror window so quickly was pretty good. Of course, there's going to be nades covering that, so that the Cade doesn't get naded for free, who's attempting to trick Moto Hatch. There's Thermite, EMP, second EMP 2, and open Moto.
Already making good leeway opening up these hatches. They just need to set up again, work out what they want to do. The 30 starts to come through. They're going to open a little rotation for rear stage, give themselves a lot of breathing room here. To make sure if they do need to adapt their strategies, they can go for it. More hatches to be open. That is the blue hatch. This is where we need to start seeing a little bit of pressure maybe elsewhere. Maybe we start to work that main stairs. Maybe we start to work that dirt. But we need to get maybe kitchen hatch open too. At least alleviate some extra pressure. Looks like they're going for it though. Is this a collapse through Moto we're seeing already? The nade does come through. No, Toski's actually downed Crow. And that could be massive. Already. Nilvi just desperately holding on to Church.
But Navy gets the opener on Pixie. That's the important thing. That's the Solus now dead. Alan Durf, though, downed and finished by Nilv. Toski was the one who was downed earlier and picked back up. Navy still another kill. Gicho frags 2 versus 2 as Gicho hits the floor and Navy can't make his way through the hallway. Toski is caught in Moto and once again, Cruelty cannot figure out how to get past this church hold.
I think the main thing there was that they weren't expecting that aggression that suddenly came through, right? They weren't expecting, you know, they got the res in Moto. They managed to get, you know, them back up again. But then the aggression came through. We saw, you know, Nilvi just on that prone position and suddenly they just decided to push them in church. It's fair enough. And again, you know, for 9Z right now, they are just collecting the freebies that are coming through from Cruelty, just making these tiny little mistakes, or in a sense, maybe, you know, underestimating them, underestimating the fact that they might be willing to take these aggressive pushes suddenly. What have they got to lose at this point, you know? They just need to they just need to keep doing stuff until something works.
That stuff might be attacking Jim. Gimnasio. I'm willing to bet that's Spanish for gym. What do you think?
I think that's a safe bet. I think Gimnasio and Habat. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that word.
Habitation. It's like
Go on there.
habitat. It's your bedroom.
I like the word. Why can't we call bedrooms habitats? Another again.
It's a bedroom.
Pretty standard setup we're going to see. Warden Shield is a fruity one. Those mirror windows again are going to give so much control, especially when it comes to this construction plus.
It did deal with the Mira pretty effectively last time. Again with the ace. That Logi take was a work of beauty. I like how 9Z though look like they're holding on to cash a little harder this time with that warden. I wonder how, because Cruelty didn't have to deal with this last time. It was pretty much like they opened the wall and then Jaeger immediately fell back. But now there's a castle on the board too, who's going to stop a lot of these entrances. Did they have a castle last time? What, around 8? They did have a castle last time. I think the castle was mainly used on like the windows and gym. So this is new. I like this from 9Z. They're changing it up. That is a crazy claymore. That's funny looking.
I think again, Cruelty is an interesting read, just seeing the fact that, okay, 9Z are willing to get aggressive. Maybe we watch for runouts this time. Safety first, I suppose, and if you've got the claymores in pockets, you may as well use them.
Oh, nice shot from Polsky. Yeah, Faxi feeling a little bit pressured, but unfortunately, once that con window cutoff has been established, you pretty much have to hold cash with your life. Like, you are not making it past there. You gotta just try and take someone out with you, play aggressively, because you're a dead man. You're a dead man walking. So Faxi gives up the opening pick, and he's been their star performer. 11 kills. No one else really coming close on 9Z except for Pixie, who's hovering at 9. And Toski's got full window coverage, maybe looking for this castle, who's very exposed. If Toski just swung around, Pixie would be a dead man, and there it is, but Toski misses the shots. Now Pixie is aware of it. Shield going down. That's a good step for the attack. Now with a minute left. Actually, do they have Jacuzzi open, right? I actually don't know.
I'm not too sure.
I would check the hard breach count, but Thermite and Ace are both on drones. There's Thermite, so Thermite's out. So I'm going to have to assume... there's Thermite used on here. Alright, I'm going to assume they got the breach open, but Gicho just dropped Logi and died. But Rovi and Navy luckily are there to pick up the pieces. Victory's left in a 1v3. Toski and Navy are low. With the Vector, this is very doable, but they know where he is, and he's just going to get wallbanged. Cruelty, again, with a successful jib attack. Like I said, they only won 2 attacks last playdate on this map, but they only needed to win 2, because having such a dominant defensive half, it's really hard to lose that.
I think this